The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up early with us today. Jackie, it is Monday, the final week of October. How are you feeling this morning?
Good. I'm so ready for a new month.
Same, sis.
I can't wait. Because, we were talking backstage about starting new things and coming, I'm supposed to go away today and coming back and just getting serious about my diet. And this conversation today is so on time.
Exactly. So we want to say good morning to everyone that is watching us. We see Sean Smith is in the comments. If you are joining us, go ahead and drop a good morning greeting to us in the comments. As you can see, Jackie and I, as always, are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. So make sure if you haven't already shared this episode with your circle, take a minute to share the link on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and drop it into your favorite WhatsApp group chat and to our tweet over there on Twitter. Make sure you retweet it because, as Jackie and I like to say,
sharing is caring.
Exactly. And so Jackie is not a member of the plant-based community, but that's okay because exactly. Next week, Monday, is World Vegan Day. So November 1st is celebrated as World Vegan Day. And so in order to prepare for World Vegan Day, today's Feel Good topic, we're going to be discussing the benefits of living a plant-based lifestyle. And we have Chef Trevor Johnstone backstage. He is going to be giving us all of the tips, tricks, and we're going to convert Jackie today so that when she comes back, she is going to be... Actually, you come back on the 1st, so that's like the perfect day and time for you to start. So that is awesome. And if you want to laugh to get your morning started, make sure you stick around for our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is Joke Time with Jackie. But I want to see how many folks are plant-based, but I'm not going to do the typical tell us if you're plant-based or don't tell us if you're plant-based. We want to know your favorite food. So fill in the blanks. My favorite food is blank because blank. So Jackie and I, as always, will get the conversation started. It looks like, do you have too many that you can't break it down? Like, is that what that
I was just like, there's different categories of food, because the first thing that came to my mind was dessert, right? And that's just like, oh, I love me some bread pudding. But then I'm just like, oh, but I can't always have it. Like, I have to be, it's dairy, like a lot of dairy. And it's like one of those times where you find out it's going to be bad weather, so you're not going to leave the house. So you indulge because at least you're always close to
her reasons are always because she doesn't want to embarrass herself. Oh,
I can't have dairy, you guys. Like, it's like, have dairy, leave.
So you definitely are a dessert person, clearly. Like, that's probably where you start on the menu when you're deciding your meal. Is that what happens?
Well, that's how I decide where we'll go. Most times. What do you want to do? Like, I want to go to dinner. Oh, okay. And they'll ask me where do I want to go. I'm like, let me see what dessert I feel like. I'm like, I kind of feel like creme brulee. Who has on the island has the best creme brulee? Or if I want a cheesecake, we all know where the best cheesecake is.
Where's the best cheesecake? Pardon?
Really? You don't know?
We do not all know this. I'm actually not a cheesecake fan, so.
Well, to me, Portugal is my favorite place to get cheesecake.
Okay, like I'm just not. Yeah. I'm not big into. I was never big into cheesecake when I was.
But I could only have a few slices.
I mean, you mean a few bites?
Sorry, bites.
I was like, slices.
One big slice, a few bites. And I usually go with my girlfriend, so we all like share it. I know. I have like 2 bites and then they devour the rest.
Well, at least you have people that can eat it, because then you just
just waste
for like 3 bites. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So it looks like we have Davika here. Good morning to you, Davika, and Kathy Rogers is in here with us. So Davika actually has told us her favorite food. Her favorite food is pizza and mac and cheese, because cheese. She makes it vegan now though, because Dairy and me aren't friends. So I feel like
we're in the same club.
There's a dairy-free club. There's a lactose intolerant club that we're gonna get shirts and everything. We're gonna be.
I need to know what. I don't want to have to go through all the different vegan cheeses to find which one's the best. So I need to know which one's the best. Like, can you guys do the work and then just tell me?
Sometimes it depends on like what consistency you're looking for. I find that making your own cheese sauce is much better. Because you get.
How do you make your own vegan cheese sauce?
Just use a plant-based milk. And then I can't remember what the other thing. Oh, I think yeast is involved. I want to say flour. I can't remember, child. I just follow the recipe.
But then I still add regular cheese. Like, I still have to add cheese.
No, but honestly, so I made a cheese sauce one time, and the consistency was like so cheesy. Like, I was pretty proud of myself. I was like, look, you made your own cheese sauce.
Okay, fun question. Did you write down how to do it? Do you remember? You don't remember. Do you remember the ingredients?
There's a Pinterest pen. There's a Pinterest pen.
You gotta send me this pen.
I do have a Pinterest pen that told me how to do it, so I would definitely be able to come back to you on that.
Because you're telling me it was good.
Misha Publis says he can relate to you, Jack. He loves dairy, but it doesn't love him back either. And
I'm usually embarrassed to be like, guys, I can't have dairy because like it's
But he is like probably one of the biggest meat lovers I know. He loves a good steak, okay?
That's my dad. I used to be like, oh yeah, I want a steak. Oh yeah, I'm having a steak. Like, yo, sis, I had like 3 steaks this week. And now I do it like, I haven't had a steak in a while. I had a burger on Friday.
You had red meat. So you had red meat.
So I had red meat, and honestly, I'm still hurting from it.
Well, today's conversation is can be perfect for you, so you have some alternatives when you come back next week. I feel like you're gonna like binge eat this week.
I am absolutely this week. This is how I always do, because I've told everybody I am cleansing when I come back for these first 2 weeks of November. Don't invite me anywhere that I can't like
find a good alternative.
Yeah, so because in Bermuda there's like salad, maybe a soup, maybe a soup. Like I don't want. Yeah.
Today's conversation got you. So Sean Smith's favorite food is chocolate chip cookies, but he prefers homemade. They are cracked to me.
I got my mom. I haven't had clam chowder.
And then Michael Anthony says New England clam chowder. I've actually never had clam chowder. Never really been a fan.
Really? It's my winter thing. Yeah, I used to eat it every winter. Like, it was a winter thing for me. Like, oh, it's raining outside. Like how people would have split pea soup. Yeah, like people would have split pea soup, and I'd be like, but can I also have clam chowder? Yo, I eat a lot. That's ridiculous.
Don't worry, it's okay. Food is. I mean, you need to have sustenance. Food is good for you. We're just gonna give you some alternative options in the plant-based community, and then you'll be able to balance yourself out.
Yes.
So coming back to your cheese question, Davika says, "OMG, I'm gonna send you my list. She is a vegan cheese connoisseur, so she's got you."
Thank you. I'm waiting for the tweet. I'm waiting for the DMs.
I do not have your back. I'm terrible. I actually only recently I just wrote down my tikka masala recipe after like over 2 years of doing it. And
you mean the one that you posted a picture of the other day, I think?
Yeah.
That looked wow. Yeah, no, because I do love pizza, but I can't have it all the time. Like, I have to sometimes sit there and pick off some of the cheese, but I love loading. Like, I'll have a veggie pizza and I'll load it with all the veggies.
I thought you were going to say cheese. I was like, Jackie, Jesus.
No. I don't think they put a lot of cheese on it anymore, because I asked for like, can I get extra mushrooms and extra jalapenos and extra pineapple? And then it's just like, so you just want like a fancy cracker and veggies? Yep.
So I'm gonna come back to the comments before I take our first commercial break. Kiara Sumner says her favorite food is all things yummy because she's a foodie. I feel like that's definitely me. And that's definitely Jackie. Like Jackie will go through, okay, my favorite breakfast is this, my favorite lunch is this, but
that's why I like doing. That's why I like to do brunch, like buffet brunches, and like that's the main thing. So I go and get a plate and I do this, and I have my appetizer breakfast, and then I have my breakfast, then I have my appetizer lunch, and then I have my lunch, and then depending on how long we're still there, then I'll have like my second lunch.
The fact that you said an appetizer breakfast and their breakfast, like
what are you talking about? You was with me for brunch that time. How many times did I kept getting a new plate? And then once the dessert time, I was sitting there and I had a whole dessert platter on my plate. They should have given me a board.
No, they shouldn't have. I'm glad they didn't. So let's run up to the last few comments before we take our first commercial break and bring in today's guest, because he has all of the keys when it comes to plant-based. Jackie and I don't have, or at least maybe he knows his recipes and he can give you some stuff offhand, because clearly I'm not the best person in that department. So Michael Anthony Mustin says you can come to visit me in Boston and we will give you some clam chowder. That's definitely a Jackie thing because I can't have that.
I can't have it either, but I'm still like
I mean, you would more likely have it than I.
Yes, yeah.
It looks like there's some cheeseless pizza fans in the house. Misha is a cheeseless pizza person as well.
I was waiting for this one. This is the one I was waiting for. That's the one. He's here, guys.
And then Jackie and I are going to take our first commercial break, and then we'll be back with today's guest, Chef Trevor Johnstone. So you do not want to go anywhere. We're going to be talking about the benefits of living a plant-based lifestyle.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just joining us, our feel good topic of the day is going to prepare you for World Vegan Day. So whether you're a vegan or you're not a vegan, maybe you're considering becoming a vegan, today we're going to be discussing the benefits of living a plant-based lifestyle with Chef Trevor Johnstone of Plant-Based Fued Bermuda. But before we get into all of that, we need you to help us to welcome him to Good Day Bermuda. So drop your favorite foodie emoji. We've been having an entire conversation this morning about food. And so, I mean, unless you're Kiara and you don't know which particular food emoji to use, put them all. Go ahead and drop those emojis in the comments as we bring Trevor into the conversation. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing?
Good.
We are well. As you can see, we're ready to talk about all things food.
Yes, let's go.
So let's start with a bit of your backstory. Tell us about your educational background and when it comes to culinary arts.
Culinary arts. So I started, back in 2005, I believe it was. Graduated from the college. After the college, I moved to Miami, Florida, to Johnson & Wales University in Miami, which I did my bachelor's there. That was about 2 years there. And then after, I stayed like another 2.5 years working at the Mandarin Oriental. Then after that, I moved back to Bermuda for about maybe 2 years or so, working at a couple of places around the island. And, my dream was to always move to Spain, to Barcelona. So I pretty much just packed my bags and left. No language, no Spanish, no job, no friends, and sort of just jumped in and sort of developed my life out there and found work and experienced different restaurants. And from there, the plant-based journey started in 2015, 2016.
I'm just shocked that you went to a foreign country and didn't know the language. Like, pardon?
Yeah. It was just something that I felt like I had to do, and it's like it was calling me, and so I just dedicated my life after Florida. I just came back to Bermuda and was just like, yo, this is my goal. I didn't really go out, didn't really party. I just worked, and just saved. I had like a financial goal that I was trying to achieve, and just left. Sold my bike, sold my TV, and just left, and that was it.
That is so cool.
That's very interesting to me, because a lot of people want to do it, but you actually had that's fearless. Like, you're just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and you're like, peace. I love it. So
I wasn't fearless per se. I was scared, but at the same time, I knew that climbing the mountain will be the hardest part, but once you get to that top, once you get past that fear and that feeling of the unknown, that view from the top is most of the time something that you could never dream about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's very inspiring. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit, because when people think plant-based, they think like, boring, this food's gonna be lame. But you've been able to make your foods like very delicious, from what I hear. I haven't tried it myself, but Terri breaks about you. I hear people breaking about you, so I am so eager to try. But like, how has that journey been? How, like, the trial and error? Can you tell us about that?
Well, like I said, in 2016 it started, right? So it really just started from a documentary, and that sort of sparked my interest in nutrition. And then from there, I just got into more documentaries, and then I started picking up books. And then from there, I even done a plant-based nutrition course from Cornell, University online, and that just completely took over. And then from there, I really started to experiment at home in the kitchen. At first, it was hard. I didn't know how to cook without, the chickens and the cheeses and the butters and all that stuff, but, Google and online is a beautiful thing, and you can learn a lot, right? So I started to study some of the great, in my opinion, the great plant-based or vegan chefs, and looking at some of their techniques and how they did certain things. And then I would sort of take that not so much recipe, but their technique, and then sort of just put my spin on it, put my, my Caribbean, Spanish background, Miami background flavors to it, and sort of develop my own style. And then from there, I just started getting better and better and better and better. And that's sort of how it led me to now.
So I want to ask, because Bermuda is heavy in definitely seafood. We do obviously get influences from America. So we have, the chicken, the red meats, and all that good jazz. So have you, I want to know, have you been plant-based your whole life, or have you been like,
No, like I said, I started in maybe about 2015, and I wasn't trying to go cold turkey. And this is what I tell a lot of people: don't try to go cold turkey, right? You have to slowly, if you really commit to it, just slowly start taking certain things out, right? And that's how I did it. I took out red meat and pork, which I was a huge lover of pork. But I took that out almost immediately, and it wasn't a problem. I held on to chicken for a long time. But like I said, it's a process. And if you've been eating 30 plus years, or however long you've been eating the way you eat now, and then you try to go vegan or plant-based overnight, your body's gonna be like, yo, what's going on, right? And then people think that, oh, I got sick, I felt weak, but this life isn't for me. Vegan didn't work for me. But it's not that. It's just that your body needs to adjust to this type of food, right? Animal foods are very calorie dense, right? So it has a different feeling. It fills you up a certain way. And then plant foods, the majority of plant foods are more like nutrient dense, right? So you sort of have to eat a little bit more depending on what you're eating. Obviously, beans and lentils and stuff like that fill you up very, very fast. But it's a more fulfilling feel, right? And it's just a lot easier on your body.
I totally agree. That's definitely my life. I love it. I live for plants.
I want to jump in real quick, because I know you said don't go cold turkey, but we're talking to me here, and I absolutely did that last year. And I didn't feel sick. I actually kept having surges of energy, because I was always hungry.
Right.
What's new, right? Jack, you're always hungry. But then I was leading myself to always having apples and oranges and fruit around me. So I was just thinking, like, you haven't always been plant-based.
Yeah.
I want to always be plant-based. Like, I just want to do that switch. But like, a lot of my friends eat meat, and I go to a cookout or a Thanksgiving dinner, and there's more meat than there are starches and vegetables, and then you find out that these starches have been cooked in carcass juices. So it's just like, well, if I'm eating the rice that has beef broth in it, I might as well have the beef. So like, for those people that are like myself, what advice do you have for them? Because it is hard in Bermuda.
It is. It is. It's definitely harder in Bermuda than anywhere else. My advice to you is, and my advice to everyone is, I know it's difficult for certain people because they're busy, but the more that you cook for yourself, the better, right? Because you know what you're putting into it. So it got to a point where when I went through my transition, and even though I was working in a restaurant in Barcelona, that we was cooking every animal under the sun you can think of, right? It got to a point where I was getting bored with what I was eating, the staff food. I didn't want to eat it anymore. So I started bringing my own food, and the guys I work with would tease me all the time. But that was sort of just a way of me controlling what I ate. And even now, to this day, if I go to a cruise or a barbecue somewhere, I mean, I'm a chef. I know it's different. It's a little bit easier for me, but I bring my own food. And at first I was sort of ashamed of it because I don't want people to look at me like, what's this guy bringing his own food? This guy is weird. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's you putting your health in your hands, and you not waiting for you to get sick to go to the doctor and putting your health in the doctor's hands. I mean, don't get me wrong, doctors are awesome, right? But doctors don't study nutrition, right? So we have to really empower ourselves to fuel our bodies in a way that we wouldn't need to go to the doctor for diseases and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing doctors, right? We all need doctors, and doctors are awesome. But like I said, it's you putting your health in your hands, you cooking, or you trying to find a source that can get you the food when you need it, per se. And like I said, I know it's very difficult in Bermuda because it's not a lot of places that have options, and if they do, it's very limited and it's not that creative. But hopefully, well, not even hopefully, that's my purpose, right? So that's why I'm here to change that in Bermuda.
And we need that. I actually want to bring in some comments because we have some more advice for you, Jackie. And I think it kind of aligns with what Chef Trevor just mentioned. He said, Sean Smith says, excuse me, when people know that you don't eat meat, people will prepare stuff for you, which I have noticed that. I do have a friend, Misha's one of them. When I go over to his house, he's a meat eater, but they do kind of put some veggies on the side or stuff like that because his wife, Gia, she's very accommodating. And then Kathy also says, eat before you go. That's what she's done before. And I think Chef Trevor, you mentioned that as well, like bringing your own food or eating before you go, because if you do know that you have a certain, dietary restriction or lifestyle that you're trying to adhere to, it can be difficult for people because, I mean, Chef, you mentioned it. It was difficult for you to transition from, being all about the meats to, now doing plant-based because, certain plant-based ingredients, they don't have the same consistency naturally as a cheese. So you might think you're making a cheese sauce and it doesn't turn out like a cheese sauce.
Right.
Then realize that you need to add a little bit of extra water or something to get it, to be a certain consistency. So I want to ask you, because I don't know if there's like a difference between plant-based and vegan. I personally just prefer plant-based because vegan feels like a dirty word now. But if there is a difference between plant-based and vegan, can you explain what that difference is?
Okay, me personally, I like the term plant-based, right? And I'll tell you why. The term vegan doesn't really state what you eat. It sort of just says that you don't really eat animal products, and veganism also could mean that you're more into the protection of animals and stuff like that, right? I like the term plant-based because that means that the majority of my calories come from a plant-based source. So that's why I like it, and it's a little bit more flexible, I believe, and I feel like you don't have to be perfect eating plant-based. You know, like for example, for me, I might have a small piece of fish once every, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm cool with that, right? Because that's me treating myself. Obviously, I don't eat it every day. I don't eat it every week. But I know that the majority of the calories that I eat are coming from a plant source, and that's why I like to tell people try to look at it from a percentage point of view, right? And just try to get a higher percentage of your calories from plant sources rather than animal sources, and just go from there. Like I said, don't be hard on yourself. It's hard for everyone, so you just gotta slowly commit to it and slowly start taking stuff out, and go online and look up recipes and stuff like that and try it. Don't be afraid to try it.
Jack, you're talking to you.
I know. I have two things because you're talking about doctors, and last year I got in kind of a bad accident, and the doctor kept pushing me to eat red meat, and I'm just like, but I don't eat red meat. She's like, yeah, but you need it for the protein and the fibers and all this other stuff, and I was just like, but no, it actually makes me sick. Like I haven't been eating it, so for me to jump back in, it's gonna make me sick. And she's just like, well, like she was pushing. I was just like, okay, I just stopped the argument. I tried red meat for a little bit, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't for me. I can't eat it this much because my body's not used to me consuming it this often anymore. So I just want to share that with you guys because I was just like, are some people supposed to be meat eaters and then some people are supposed to be plant-based? Like, does everybody have a special diet? Like sometimes it gets overwhelming and complicated because like, what if I'm supposed to be eating meat even though my body rejects it, but the doctor's sitting here saying eat more red meat? Like,
well, that's just what they're taught, right? And not to go too deep, right? But these industries, meat, dairy, and egg industries, are very, 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 very powerful industries. The pharmaceutical industries as well, right? They fund studies, right? So we have been taught that we need milk for calcium, we need animal products, animal protein for protein sources. But it's not true. It's not true. We can get all that we need from a plant source. The only thing that we might have to find a supplement is B12. And that goes across the board for meat eaters as well, because B12 does not come from animals. Animals do not make B12. Animals do not make calcium, right? So cows don't make calcium. It's not calcium. It's calcium, right? So if you think about it, all vitamins and minerals, where do they come from? They come from the soil. They come from the ocean, right? So all the animals that we eat for protein, for calcium, for omega-3s, most of them are vegetarians anyway. So you're basically just cutting out the middleman, and you're going to a first-hand source of a vitamin or a protein or whatever it is, man. But it's so crazy. Everyone's so obsessed with protein, man, and they don't. It's like, it's funny how like you can say, oh, I'm good, and Mr. Chicken, and people are like, oh, okay. But then once you say that you're vegan, everyone wants to know where you're getting your protein source from, or where you're getting your, you know what I mean? It's just like, yo, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? You're going to Mr. Chicken. You know what I mean? You're going to KFC. You know what I mean? So it's that mentality, it's that stigma that the majority of the population has. And in my opinion, it's just from lack of education in plant-based nutrition. And this is why, like I said, another reason why I'm here, and I want to help people to break that mentality of, oh, we need this, when we really don't. And in the end, it's really causing more damage to our bodies in the long run than anything else.
I think it's interesting when you see people talk about, oh, this cow is grass-fed, so this is grass-fed meat. It's like, oh, so you want the cow to eat the grass to get the nutrient that you could just probably get from a plant-based source yourself. But, go forth and be great. I was one of those people that did look for the organic chicken when I used to eat meat. Red meat was definitely one that I let go first as well, Jack. So it's definitely one of those where it's like,
and chicken, I don't eat pork anymore. I can't.
Like that.
I can't. It used to smell nice to me, and then I'm just like,
yeah, man.
In my nose.
Pork is definitely, I feel like pork is one of the ones that people will say I could do plant-based up until you eat the bacon. It's like up until the bacon, I can't do the plant-based.
I actually like turkey bacon, but it has to be extra crispy. I like turkey bacon. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I trust me. I used to love bacon as well, and stuff, and processed meats and all that stuff. But like I said, once again, education. You know, like once we know that, for example, processed meats, right, which includes deli slices and bacons and all that stuff, the FDA way back, like a few years back, has declared it as a group 1 carcinogen, right? So that basically means that a carcinogen is a substance that's directly linked to cancer growth, cancer cell growth, right? So they put these meats in the same group as cigarette smokes.
Wow.
Think of that, right? And that's well, you can, literally you can go online and find that information out. But because nobody knows about it, they don't promote it, because obviously being healthy makes a lot of sense and it doesn't make dollars. You're not going to hear that stuff, right? So this is what people need to hear, because I feel like once people have the education, they can make a better decision for themselves on why they eat, not just eating because it tastes good.
Yeah.
Eating to fuel your body, to give you longevity and vitality, you know, so you can grow old and be healthy and play with your great grandkids, and you know what I mean, and do that stuff.
I feel like I have to have good knees, because like, I don't know, I've watched documentaries, and you know, they talk about how it's linked to the mucus, and the mucus growing in your body messes with your joints, and it's just a trickle effect. So I started to look at different things that have hindered my body. And like when I told you I went cold turkey, I felt great the 2 weeks after. I felt like everything had flushed out of my system. I did a cleanse. I was doing my CMOS, everything. I just felt great. So I am so on board to move forward. But you're saying, like, you know, Pinterest and Google, and I get overwhelmed. Like, I feel like when it's time to cook a new meal, I don't have a big enough kitchen. Like, I need a chef's kitchen. I need all the counters. And like, how did you go through that process and just be able to shrink everything down to be digestible versus overwhelming? Digestible.
I don't know. It's just I sort of just fell into it. Like I said, once I started educating myself and I started playing around in the kitchen more and started using different plant items, plant ingredients that I've never used before, like that. It sort of just grew onto me, and then from there, like I said, I just started. It was like a snowball effect, and then I started reading more. I started experimenting more, and then, like I said, once that started going, it got easier for me to drop all these other foods that I was eating. Like dairy. Most people have issues with cheese, and they can't let go of cheese. But if you know what cheese is, and if you know what cheese contains, and if you know what cheese does to your body, it doesn't do anything good for your body. It's basically coagulated cow pus, right? Basically, and it's about 70% saturated fat, and it just destroys your body. Dairy just destroys your body. And you was talking about having issues with lactose, and what's real is the majority of the world has an issue with lactose. Like blacks have, like, don't quote me on the numbers, but it's like 75% of blacks worldwide have some type of issue to lactose. Asians are like in the 90s, and then like Hispanics are like in the 50s, right? Wow. So that's a large part of the world that has issues with digesting it, because we're not supposed to be eating this stuff.
That's crazy.
We're not, but we have been marketed very good, very good, very, very, and a lot of money has been put into programming us to believe that milk does a body good, when it really doesn't. It really doesn't. There's nothing that you need in milk.
I learned that. We had to learn it the hard way, but I definitely learned that. I wanted to bring in this audience question before we wrap up, Chef Trevor, because this one's very interesting. We're gonna have an episode on this later this week, so do make sure you stick around, audience. But here's the question. Sean Smith wants to know: do you grow a lot of your own food, and how do you manage the cost, as it costs more than a meat-based diet? So, can you let us know if you do have your own garden, and if you don't, how do you source the best plants on the island?
Well, I do have gardens here. I mean, but the thing about growing your own food in Bermuda is, and like for you to be sustainable and eating it and completely eating off your land, it's kind of hard, right? Because there's not enough space, right? So I do shop at Lindo's and Miles and stuff like that, and I don't find it to be more or less expensive than eating meat. And I know a lot of people think that, oh, it's expensive to eat, vegan, but it's really not. The difference is if you buy processed vegan food, that's when it becomes expensive. And you go to the store and you buy the all the cheeses and they have all this pre-made vegan stuff. And I know it's good for some people and it's easy for some people, but that gets expensive. But if you're eating, for example, beans and rice and fresh produce, man, a pound of black beans in Lindo's is like $2.65 a pound. So it's like there's no comparison. For me, there's no comparison, but it's just like, once again, breaking that stigma, that mentality of what people have about this lifestyle, and they actually going out and see it for themselves.
Couldn't agree more. I got a bunch of beans in my cupboard. I buy them when they're on sale though, because it's like, oh, I can get more for less.
Now, for those that want to make changes and reprogram themselves, like myself, and carry on this conversation, how can they get in contact with you?
Instagram and Facebook at plantbasedfuelbda.com. Email eat@plantbasedfuelbda.com. And yeah, send me some emails or some messages if anyone has any questions, or if anyone wants a recipe or wants to know how to do certain things. Just hit me up. I might take some time to get back to you, but I'll definitely respond.
Well, awesome. Get ready, because it's going to be flooding in from me.
Jacky's probably going to be the first email that you see.
What about this one? Have you tried this one?
Once again, Chef Trevor, Jacky and I want to thank you for joining us this morning, and we trust that you have a good day.
Yes. I say that we definitely have to do this again. I still have a lot to say. I still have a lot to say, but thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then Jacky and I will be back to get your thoughts on today's episode, and we will also be getting ready for a joke time with Jacky. So if you want to laugh to get your morning started, make sure you stick around. Jacky and I will be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook that you give us a reaction to today's episode. If you're over there on YouTube and you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe before the end of today's episode. And to all of our peeps over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. Jacky, that convo was great.
I feel like it just opened up like a can of worms, because I still have more questions and he still has more to say. So we're going to find a way to get him back on.
Absolutely. And so it was definitely a start to the conversations. It's not the end, because I feel like what Chef Trevor said, like the education piece is what's missing for a lot of people to actually transition to including more plant-based meals. I feel like you don't have to be 100% plant-based like he mentioned, but you could definitely start to incorporate more fruits and veggies into your diet, and you might find yourself like Jacky, full of more energy, I feel better and I don't eat meat than when I do eat meat. So I do want to bring in some comments that we got earlier in the episode before we go over to joke time. Davika Hill says, people would always ask me when they found out I was vegan, and I hated the question. I eat food. There's other foods besides meat and dairy. And
there are. I see the meme, which is like, what does a vegan eat when they go home after a night of drinking? I'm like, fries. Food. Everybody else eats fries when they're drunk. And I actually, believe it or not, when I'm drunk, I would prefer to eat a yummy, crunchy salad, with nuts and craisins and stuff. It's something about that crunch, like a kale Caesar. But I need like exactly, and that is usually my drunk. Like I would rather eat that than fries, or I eat like rice.
Got you. So I want to get to this last comment from Kiara Sumner before we go into joke time with you, Jackie. So Kiara says, I like to think if I pay up front now to make healthier choices, I'll avoid having to pay for medical expenses for poor health later. And that's really what it's all about. Like, you know, treating your body to some really good plant-based food would not go wrong. Jackie, it's joke time. I'm ready to try to figure out if I can guess the answer to the corny jokes. If this is the first time you're watching us, all you have to do is react to Jackie's jokes by dropping a comment, or if you're watching on Facebook, react using the react icon to whatever that thing is called. Jackie, over to you.
What's a crafty dancer's favorite hobby?
A crafty dancer's favorite hobby? Woodwork?
Cutting a rug. What kind of music do chiropractors like?
Break beatbox.
Hip hop. Why is the cold water so insecure? Last one.
Why is the cold water so insecure? It's sweating. It's condensation.
Because it's never been cold hot.
Clearly, I'm not the only one who finds these corny jokes hilarious. Thank you, Martin, for not letting me feel like I'm the only one. Busting out laughing to these jokes. Like, I'm really trying to not laugh so much so that you guys don't hurt.
I can't even tell the joke without giggling. Oh my god.
As always, we hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we trust we'll see you tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.